though, man. That looks.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What's going on, y'all? No countdown. We're just gonna jump right into it. We got a lot to cover today with a phenomenal guest. I'm really, really excited. I met Tejas down at React Miami. I've been following Tejas now for a bit on Twitter. The power of Twitter. I love what he stands for, speaks about, and also I've been fascinated with this company that starts with an X. Because typically when Scrabble, you have a word that you have to do and you have an X. It just, I struggle a lot. And so I'm actually really, really excited to have Tejas with Xata.
Xata.
Yeah. So really, really excited. So Tejas, if you want to give a quick background, man, about just who you are and kind of what your role is within Xata.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Tejas. That's like contagious or advantageous. Tejas. And I work at Xata, or Xata, however you want to say it. It's like the word data, man. There's like multiple, and that's actually what the name means. It's like extended data, and I'm the director of developer relations. So my whole job is to just vibe out and have really good relationships with developers. And yeah, we're creating this like next generation serverless database that just gives developers like a nice experience. Because like database has been hard for front-end developers. Usually it's like, what is a foreign key constraint? And just like you can just link stuff together.
I have those same problems all the time too. Yeah.
So it's just an evolution on that.
So I know obviously. So we had Kent Dodds on the show with Remix. And I see that, obviously on your website, it says that, you guys are the best serverless database for Next, Remix, Cloud Functions, and more. I see a lot of this trend happening right now where, you have the Vercels, you have y'all, just kind of like a new way of doing things. I don't know if there's a specific word for like y'all's business, but I feels like it's trying to make getting started on the web easier. And so I don't know if that's the case. And then if it is, what was the idea for obviously this company?
Yeah, that's a good question. It is in a way trying to make getting stuff on the web easier. Actually, not in a way. That's exactly the vision. Is making databases specifically.
You can go ahead and coin it. Just tell your marketing to shoot me a bill.
Yeah. Because databases are hard, especially if you want to like if you're building just a proof of concept or like a Tinder app or whatever, like. There's always the question of like, okay, should I go with MySQL or NoSQL or your SQL? Like it's always this relational, non-relational nonsense. Not nonsense, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's a hard decision to make, and usually you'll spend months making these decisions, right? So with Xata, it's just like, here's the thing, throw data in it, it's just gonna work. So that's the mission, and the mission is that it meets you not just like at like planet level scale, but like at all levels of scale. It's just there. And it just works.
Is there another? So you hear serverless a lot, right? I mean, you have obviously the serverless features among all the other cloud platforms. Is there somebody else in the market doing what you're doing, or y'all are kind of the first of this new wave of doing things?
Yeah, that's a good question. We're not the first, which, a lot of, I hear in VC circles, like it's really important to be the first. But like while the early bird gets the worm, the second mouse gets the cheese. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not that interested in being the first. But there are a few other like serverless databases around.
Sure.
PlanetScale, Supabase, EdgeDB, Neon, for example. There's quite a few. And I think though the mission is kind of the same, but we go about it in different ways. So I don't know if we're competitors or not. I don't even think in that way.
There's so much use cases too, right? I mean, there's so many users of everything. You take a slice of it.
Yeah. And the general gist of serverless, like a lot of people also like to joke about like what serverless means and so on, right? But the way we see it, we actually have a blog post about this. What we talk about when we talk about serverless databases. And for us, it's just that we do all the hard serverless. Can I swear on this show?
Or yeah, no? Absolutely, 100%.
Okay. We do all the hard server full shit for you, so it's serverless for you, right? So like with databases, there's like upgrades you need to do for security, but then upgrades can be unsafe. We just do the upgrades for you. there's backups you need to maintain, and if you don't, you're fucked because you can't restore. We do the backups for you. Like we just do all the shit so that we're like everybody's DBA team, database administrative team.
See, I love that you're doing it this way because honestly, you look at this is a form of low code, I guess, a form of low code.
Right.
And so when you look at a lot of these low code based companies, they're, in my opinion, they're handling the fun side of it, right? Like, yeah, we're going to you just drag and drop UIs and do all that. And it's like, yeah, but I still got to do all the complex backend stuff. It really is the other way around. Let me build this engine and you just paint it. Like this is much more, allows you to have some of the fun still. And just to your point, take care of the really hard stuff.
Exactly. And what's when you say the fun stuff, I kind of hear like building the product I want to build. Like if I want to build a music player, then what do I need? I need somewhere to store like artists and songs and plays. And I want that problem to go away so then I can keep building my music player the way I want to. I don't want to spend 6 months thinking about, okay, should I use like Aurora DB or Cosmos DB or like who cares? I just need somewhere to put that stuff.
This may be. Oh, go ahead, Dan.
I was just going to ask, how technical does somebody need to be to help set up and use this and build it within their application? Are you talking, multiple years of experience working with data, or can somebody that just has, a little bit of knowledge kind of jump in and get started?
Yeah. Have you heard of Airtable?
Yes, I was actually just about to ask you about what's the similarities here?
Yeah, so I'm not here to talk trash about Airtable, even though I want to. But
he's not here to do that.
But the Airtable is very much focused on like low code or no code. It's like Excel with an API, and the API. This will probably be controversial. The API was an afterthought. This is not me saying it feels like an afterthought. It really was. Like it wasn't built API first. And because of that, like I don't think it's, as a developer, I don't find it friendly to me. If I write Go, for example, I'm going to query objects, and if my columns in Airtable have like spaces between the name, I just can't work. I can't unmarshal that JSON in Go. So it's not developer friendly in that way. Zeta is very similar. It's literally like Airtable in that you have a spreadsheet UI. It looks like a Google Sheet, but you get this like full REST API straight out of the box.
That's crazy.
And it's featured, but we don't stop there because like you can think of Xata more as a developer experience company than a database company. So like what we have is when you have a database on Xata, or a Xata base, if you will, we
got it.
We give you this like npm install client that will then like hook up to your Xata base, generate static TypeScript for you that you just like autocomplete everything. You just like press the tab key a few times and you're talking to this thing from code, without any effort. And if even that's too much, there's a VS Code extension where you can do everything you need with your database without ever leaving VS Code. It's just like
really,
yeah. If I could share my screen, I'd show you. It's kind of nuts.
I think you can. Can you?
Really? Do you want to?
Let's share.
I think you can give him permission to do so.
Share? Can you press share at the bottom?
Yeah, he's sharing, guys. Let's get on this.
Okay. Well, here we go.
Let's do it. Yeah, this is the first.
So cool. Share screen. My entire screen. You might see yourselves. Yeah. Here.
We should be so lucky. Yeah.
Are you seeing my screen right now?
I'm seeing your screen.
Let's go.
This is Xata. I'm gonna log in with my Google.
We need to do this more with our companies we bring on.
So this workspace is like a GitHub org. It's just my company. So I'm gonna call it that. And here I can have as many databases as I want. So I'll do like a to-do app. And notice it's instant. It's just like ready. I can do whatever I want. My database is there. So I'll do like items in my to-do list as a table, add a column of like label or something, and then like a Boolean column of like, are you done? And then I can add a to-do item. I'll say smile. It's not yet done. And then now if I have a database with some data, which already that took like 5 seconds.
Yeah, that was so fast.
I can like query this with this little button over here. So if I click this, I can like I can get a curl snippet and I can copy it. And then I go open my terminal, right? And I paste it. And I get, let me actually pipe that to JQ so it's a bit more readable. And you see I get my item here, smile. Straight away, just like right there. I can even copy the JavaScript snippet like right into my console here, and I get back. I don't know if you can see this, but I get back my little to-do item here with an ID.
That's crazy.
Can you use this as a temporary stopgap or even a long-term solution for integrations of multiple applications like post-acquisition?
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
That's killer. Yeah.
You can use it. I mean, the time from like logging in to then creating a database and
That was
querying
wild.
without, so like I've seen
Very
teams lose
cool.
months over like NoSQL or MySQL. You know what I'm saying?
What and are you guys have you gone through, High Trust, SOC 2, all of that?
Not yet. I mean, the company's been around for a year, and that's part of the reason we're still private beta, is because we'll be GA once we're closer to that.
Yeah.
But I didn't fulfill my promise. I didn't show you the thing that I wanted to show you, which was like how developer. So that's, you get what I just showed you. You kind of get that with Airtable.
Yeah.
But the developer tools is what I wanted to show you, which is this.
Okay.
So I have this to-do database with Smile and whatever. If I now go to my lab, you should be seeing my terminal. Let me know if you're not.
I am.
Yep.
I can make a new project called Stuff. Oh, it exists. Stuff 2. So now I have the Xata CLI, which, watch this, I can log in. And when I log in, I can just create an API key from opening the browser. So now it like takes me to Xata and it'll ask me like, what API key do I want to create? And I'll say stuff, lol, as you do. And so now I've authenticated my CLI with Xata. So now I can actually clone this project, this database, locally in this folder. So I'll do something like Xata init. And it's like, which database do you want? So it knows, to-do app.
Jeez.
Do you want to use the code generator? Yes. Where? Here. And it just like generates the, oh shoot, it's not an NPM project. I need to NPM init, my bad.
And how does documentation work after this, and how does getting up to speed? Is it just you're literally running everything, and then if someone has questions about something, or if they need to scale, they can pull it out, or how does that work?
Yes, so there's go to docs everywhere where you can actually read docs. We try to be nice about docs. Like we have videos and everything, which is usually like me speaking and
Hey, who's that?
I know that guy.
I saw him on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's we also have a Discord where people ask for help. But this is what I wanted to show you. So now this project is set up locally with my development environment, so I can do things like Xata random data, and it just like inserted random shit into my to-do list, which I can now use for development and stuff. I can also open VS Code, so I can like do something like file.ts, and in here I could do something like data, and I can say await get Xata client. I think I should be able to import this from the code generated file. Yeah, exactly. And now watch this. I have .db.items.get all, and just like that, I get all my to-dos. And it knows that I have a table items. In fact, I could even filter on it, where like is done is false, and it knows the name of this column, so I can't fuck around. Like it's like, hey, this is unsafe, Which this level of dev tooling I haven't seen for just interacting with the database. What comes close is like Prisma Planet Scale as a combo.
Yeah.
But yeah, this kind of just batteries included database situation.
That's amazing. So when it comes to, is this subscription? Like, how does this work from like a pay model? Is it like a monthly service?
Yeah, so it's free in the beginning, as everything is. But we do, like, we're developers ourselves, right? So we hate like this like surprise AWS $2,000 what the hell happened type of situation.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all have been bitten by that bug, but like you'll create something on AWS.
Jake, have you
Google Ocean. Google Ocean, Heroku. You spin something up, and all of a sudden you get users more than 20 of them. You get a $10,000 bill.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So we don't do that. We're super open and upfront about it. It's free in the beginning. up to certain limits. Can I share my screen? Am I sharing my screen too much? Can I share my screen again?
No,
Is
no,
that-
you can go.
Share it again.
Go back.
Okay, so
You.
here we're really upfront about that. So if we look at we have this like usage and limits section where this is the free tier, and it's like, well, it's free, and for free you get up to 50 requests a second, and 40 requests that can take as long as they want to resolve and run in parallel, and you get 2 GB of data storage. And then if you want to add more, you just kind of do this. And for 29 a month,
cool.
you get that. For 58 a month, you get that.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And yeah, you're never going to be surprised. If you go over your limits, dude, I mean, like 1,700 requests a second, you must be really popular. But if you go over the limits, we're not going to like cut off your service or bill you more, but we will throttle you. We're just like, your subsequent requests are going to be a bit slower, such that your users will notice and you'll get a warning like, hey, maybe it's time to upgrade.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're getting that many requests, you should be profitable enough to be able to pay more.
Unless
Yeah.
you're also doing the freemium model.
Wait, say that again, Jake.
I said unless you're also doing the freemium model using theirs.
Yeah. So
Uh,
go ahead, Dan.
how'd you get connected with these guys?
Yeah,
That's an awesome question. So I was working at Spotify before.
Yeah, heard of them.
I wasn't feeling it, put it that way. It's not entirely their fault. We were in the middle of a pandemic and we all weren't feeling a lot of things, right? So I got this random DM from this random woman I've never met before in my life. And she was like, "Hey, I have a company. Do you want to join us?" I'm like, "Well, who are you?" And so she sent a link to this TechCrunch article about their pre-seed or their seed round, which was 5 million. And saying, "Yeah, I just started this company. I'm the CEO. It's a serverless database. It's called Xata. Would you be interested?" And I said, "Yeah." So we had an interview, and in the interview, it was very special because like I got to meet the CEO and the CTO, Monica and Tudor, and they said to me, "What do you want to do? We're a startup. We're 5 people. Literally, we need everything. We need front end. We need back end. What are you best at?" And I'm like, "I don't know. What do you need the most? I can do all of those. I've done all of those." And they said, "Well, we could hire a lot of engineers. There's a lot of skill around, but there's one thing that we've seen you do that we cannot find anywhere else, and that is the way you speak. We've seen you speak at conferences, and we're like, that is unique and impossible to find anywhere else. So we'd like it if you could lead DevRel." And I'm like, "Okay, I can do that." And that's how it started. So I've been at the company since January 6th. I'm coming in on my 7th month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I can confirm Tejas is an amazing speaker. Go ahead, Dan.
No, you sound really. I mean, you sound great. So I know that we're starting to. We've talked to a few folks that have been involved in developer relations. But what exactly does that mean? Obviously, I know that you're a developer. I know that you go around and you evangelize not only your product, but you speak to the developers. But for those that are following that may not know, because it does seem like a role that's popping up a lot more. What exactly is your role within the company?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in the beginning, I was the only DevRel person. So my role was everything DevRel, and that includes content creation. So speaking on YouTube videos, writing blog posts, and speaking at conferences, and thinking about budgets and sponsoring conferences, and literally and writing and maintaining documentation for Xata because it's a new product. So if people have issues, there's nothing to Google. Setting up a community like Discord, there's just a bunch of things.
So much.
But now there's a team, and my role has moved more towards looking after the team. So we have 2 developer experience engineers, Attila and Fabian. And really my role is to support them and mentor them and make sure they're doing the best work they can do. Of course, I still am relatively well known as a speaker, so I'll occasionally get invitations to speak at this conference or that conference or write this blog post somewhere. And I do that actively. But by and large, it's just like thinking broadly about the company, and the driving force is what relationship do we have with developers and how can we have a really good one? And that's why I said earlier, it's about vibing out. It's literally, in my opinion, it's all about the vibes. We don't want to have fucked up vibes with developers. We want to have good vibes. We want to give them nice APIs. We want to listen to them. It's literally just vibe based.
I love that.
Which is Jake,
like,
you're on mute.
Yeah.
This is your first time.
It's like Bonnaroo for developers.
It's like we love some good vibes. Good vibes right there. That's killer.
Yeah.
So-
And it's, sorry.
Just a little bit about you though too. Like, how did you get your start in speaking, and what's your shtick before you became DevRel Elite?
Yeah, I'm not sure I count as elite, but I'll take it. I've been writing code since I was 8 years old. I have a very serious illness where I could not do anything at all growing up, physical anyway. Like from carrying a backpack, I'd be in the ER. From opening a heavy door, I'd be nearly dead. From like throwing up, like literally every action would kill me, other than like sitting at a computer doing this.
Wow.
Right. So it's almost like I was predestined for whatever life I have now. But yeah, so from 8 years old, all I could do was write code. Been writing code since I was 8. Wrote my first blog, CMS, whatever, forum software thing at 13, PHP and MySQL and all that.
There you go.
The classic. We're kind of going back to that anyway. And then React happened. So I've been an engineer professionally since 2012, or 2015, depending on who you ask. Always been an IC, software engineer, but I've always, because of my illness as well, I couldn't like interact with a lot of people because it's only a matter of time until someone pats me on the shoulder and then I'm bruising and dead. So it's like, yeah, it's nuts. So I didn't have a lot of social exposure, and I was socially awkward as shit. I was like the least charismatic person in the room. People thought I was like, it was just really
serious.
Yeah, dude, I was like, nobody liked me and nobody wanted to. They're like, fuck that guy. He's so awkward. We hate him, especially in high school. That's when
high school's the worst.
Yeah.
I mean,
and so I didn't like this, but I had this like, because I've been writing code from such a young age, I had like a engineer's mindset. So when I spent time with kids in school and they all treated me like shit, I was like, why am I not likable and what can I do about it? I came up with an algorithm. I like Googled like, how do I be awesome socially? And I spent years practicing having a nice personality and being charismatic and all of this, which then made me really comfortable like doing public speaking and stuff. So I did a TEDx talk in 2012.
Wow.
And that was really well received. And then people were like, oh, you should be a public speaker.
What was it talk about? I'm curious.
Yeah, it was about my disease and how fucked up it was living with it. Because it's rare. Nobody knows about it. So like people at TED, they really like the idea. And then people are like, you should be a public speaker. I was like, yeah, I could. So I applied to a few tech conferences in the beginning and had a few meetups here and there. And then it wasn't until JSConf EU. Some of you may have heard of biggest JavaScript conference in the world. Not even a conference anymore, a festival. I applied there. They thankfully have an anonymized, non-racially biased selection process.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
They don't even look at people's names. They just look at
just the talk. Like just
the talk. Yeah.
Honestly, that's what it should be. But
yeah, and so they looked at just the talk. They saw my talk. They were like, yeah, we want to hear this. I got selected for this conference. I gave this talk, and then everybody's like, wow, dude, who is this guy? We need him at our conference. We need him. And then I just been getting invited to a bunch of conferences. And so that's how I got into DevRel. And then, after that, it wasn't hard until the job offers started coming.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing, man. And then how long you've been, like now you said you're in Berlin. Have you been in Berlin this whole time?
No, 7 years. I came to Berlin predominantly for the healthcare.
Yeah.
The disease that I have, I'm on some type of new drug now, but like as of before 2020, it was like $10,000 a week just to keep me alive. And if I don't take it, I'd for sure die. Right.
Dang, dude.
Yeah. But in Berlin, we have public universal healthcare. So that's why I came here.
Wow.
Thankfully, I came here through a tech job. I could write code, and they were hiring with relocation engineers.
Yeah, they were.
Engineers were like on this like short list of talent.
Yeah.
Like had I been a marketing person or something, I would have no chance.
Wow.
So it's really through code that I came here.
I didn't know this about you, man. I'm so glad we were able to catch up today because that's crazy.
Yeah.
So what now? I want to. Well, actually, we have a hard stop, so let's end.
We can relax the hard stop. It's fine.
Okay. So last question for you. Biggest piece of advice for developers going from big companies to startups and what they should be mindful of, because I think this is something we're seeing a lot, especially the last 2 years with people bouncing around from job to job. What's just some
Mhm.
things, some words of wisdom that you would give folks before they go from a Spotify to a Xata?
Is to be sure you want the hustle. Startups just have a lot more hustle just because there's few people.
Correct.
And the reason I quit Spotify, one of them was I felt like it was the perfect job for like 15 years down the line. It's an already established machine. From my perspective, I couldn't do as much as I wanted to do as fast as I wanted to do it.
Makes sense.
And at a startup, if you want to like move your production database from one day to the next, sure, you can just
go.
So if you're sure you want the hustle, the move fast, break things, then I'd suggest doing it. Yeah,
That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Boys, you got anything else? That was awesome.
No, that's incredible. I don't 100% know everything that you're talking about,
I mean,
but from watching it and what I do know, it seems absolutely incredible. I think that'd be awesome to continue to watch you guys grow. Congratulations on your big seed round and everything else, and whatever we can do to try to help you as well would be incredible. But fantastic product. You're an engaging and incredible speaker. So hopefully we cross paths soon again.
Yeah, I'd like that. Hey, thanks so much.
yeah,
It was great
All right, y'all.
meeting you, man. Yeah,
Have a good
thanks
one.
so much.
Bye.
You too.